Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox. Today we're delving into Tao Feng Fist of the Lotus, a game released exclusively for the original Xbox on March 18th, 2003, published by Microsoft Game Studios and developed by Studio Gigante. This 3D fighting game entered a console arena already populated with excellent 3D fighters. To be considered among the greats on the Xbox, Tao Feng had to shine as a standout title. What makes Tao Feng stand out even more is the involvement of John Tobias, the lead designer and one of the creators of the original Mortal Kombat games. Tao Feng proudly displays this connection right on its front cover. This game actually connects to my childhood. To be honest, I had little hype for this game, but I was an avid fan of fighting games, especially when playing with my father. I remember the trip to Walmart where we got this, where my dad asked the electronics clerk for a game recommendation on the Xbox, and his response was Tao Feng, and that's how Tao Feng became a childhood game for me. I recall many hours spent playing it with friends, even though it didn't quite get the same attention as some of the other 3D fighters in my collection. Also, this is a recommendation from Thugsy Hayes 2076. Thank you for today's recommendation. Today, I'm revisiting this game to provide you with my thoughts and insights. If you have any memories related to this game, or maybe other Xbox fighting games, please feel free to share them in the comments below. But let's go ahead and jump on in. In Tao Feng Fist of the Lotus, players have the opportunity to select characters from two rival factions, both located within New China. Each faction possesses a tablet that when combined can grant its wielder immortality. Their relentless conflict revolves around either safeguarding this powerful artifact or harnessing its potential for themselves. To be candid, most of this plot synopsis was extracted from the game's instruction manual. While the game does convey its story, it does so in a somewhat uninspiring manner. Although there is a story mode, it relies on a text scroll at the beginning, and before each fight, a narrator briefly introduces the background of the two combatants. While this approach has some merit, it lacks the engaging storytelling elements that could have been achieved through cutscenes or maybe some other immersive techniques. The fundamental concept of the plot holds promise, offering the outline for an intriguing narrative. However, it never realizes its potential in any engaging manner. While a fighting game doesn't necessarily require a deep narrative, a well-crafted story can enhance the overall experience. Unfortunately, Tao Feng falls short in this regard. With a lack of compelling character plots and backstories, its narrative delivery is so straightforward that it fails to generate the impact needed to stand out. Now on to the gameplay itself. Tao Feng follows a similar formula to other 3D fighters such as Dead or Alive 3, which was popular at the time of its release. You have full control of your character in a 3D arena, providing ample space for combat. It's a familiar setup, but Tao Feng introduces some new elements offering both hits and misses. One noticeable difference is the combo system. Combos can be challenging to execute and feel somewhat slower compared to other fighting games. This deliberate pacing removes the quick, devastating moves often associated with the genre. While it requires more thought and strategy for each move, it can lead to less satisfying combos. The slower pace may not provide the same level of excitement as other games. Tao Feng does shine in certain areas. I really like the interactivity with the stages. Special moves allow you to leverage walls and objects for unique attacks. It adds a dynamic edge to the fights and it makes them more engaging. These moments of stage-bending destruction look visually appealing too, and it injects excitement into each fight. Another standout feature is the limb damage system. Repeatedly targeting specific areas of your opponent will eventually cripple their arms or legs, leading to reduced damage dealt in those areas. This mechanic also applies to excessive blocking, adding a penalty for overly defensive play. It's a creative and realistic way to encourage diverse combat strategies. character animations change when they're injured, adding depth to the fighting experience. Tao Feng also introduces chi moves that accumulate as you battle opponents. These moves can paralyze or deliver heavy damage. The game employs a 3 health bar system where your health carries over between rounds. It's small touches like this that does help set Tao Feng apart from run-of-the-mill fighters. While there are commendable aspects such as the limb damage system and stage interactions, the character roster feels somewhat lackluster. None of the characters truly stand out, with the exception of figures like Master Sage, an older character with surprising speed, or Divinity, who has teleportation abilities. However, the overall roster lacks characters with intriguing movesets or distinct personalities. In a game aiming to stand out, the character selection falls short of achieving the level of uniqueness necessary to leave a lasting impression. In any fighting game, the roster is a huge component, just as important as the gameplay mechanics themselves. In Tao Feng's case, while it makes strides in innovation, it falls short in terms of character diversity and appeal. To make a lasting mark in the fighting game genre, diverse and engaging game modes are essential as well. Tao Feng offers some classic modes like Versus and Training, which are fundamental to the experience. On top of these, you'll find enjoyable modes like Survival and Team Battle. In Survival mode, the challenge is to fight off multiple opponents in a row with only 1 health bar at your disposal. Team Battle mode allows you to assemble a team of characters to face off against another team. While these modes add variety, they don't introduce groundbreaking concepts to the genre. The most notable mode in Tao Feng is its Quest mode, essentially serving as the game's story mode. However, it's somewhat bare bones and lacks the intrigue found in other fighting game narratives. As previously mentioned, the story is conveyed through text and narration, leaving much to be desired. Players primarily engage in battles on a grid, and it comes across as a glorified arcade mode. While the inclusion of Quest mode was a step in the right direction, it needed more depth and substance to truly captivate players. Overall, the game modes are present, but they may not keep you engaged for an extended period. Tao Feng, to me, thrives when played with other players, and even then, there are arguably better fighting game options available on the Xbox. It's not that Tao Feng plays poorly or lacks interesting modes, but it may not be the most enticing fighting game in this console's library. Before we move on, talking about graphics and audio, if you made it this far and you're enjoying the video, be sure to leave a like as it helps my channel grow. Also subscribe to stay up to date with more retro Xbox reviews. But moving on, Tao Feng Fist of the Lotus truly shines in the graphics department, making full use of the Xbox's capabilities. The character models are remarkably detailed and visually crisp. As you engage in combat, the subtle bloodstains and damage on the characters become evident, showcasing the meticulous attention to detail the game designers had. Character designs, however, present a mixed bag. While some, like Exile, a massive tattooed man exuding an intimidating aura, and Iron Monk, a monk with a masked mouth, stand out with their creativity, others fall short. Characters such as Fiery Phoenix, who appears as just a guy with fire pants, and the Fatalist, who bears a resemblance to Kano from Mortal Kombat, don't quite reach the same level of inspiration. Nevertheless, despite the disparity, the overall presentation remains excellent. Where Tao Feng truly excels is in its stage design. The dynamic and diverse stages are a standout feature of the game. One of my favorites is an arcade-themed stage with rows of destructible arcade cabinets lining the exterior. The multi-level structure and vibrant neon lighting contribute to its overall visual appeal. Even the training level is outstanding, featuring a central lower level, and it branches off into different wings, all accentuated by impressive ground and wall destruction effects. These stages emphasize the 3D spatial aspect of the game, adding depth and immersion to the battles. The sound design in Tao Feng Fist of the Lotus is noteworthy as well, offering satisfying and visceral hit noises, and it captures the essence of intense combat reminiscent of Mortal Kombat's sound design. The voice acting, while not exceptional, is commendable, with the cast putting in effort into each character and giving them all a unique feel, despite the cheesy one-liners. However, where the sound truly shines is in the music department. The soundtrack is a standout feature, embracing a techno-infused style reminiscent of the late 90s and early 2000s, akin to The Matrix's soundtrack. It features pulsating beats, powerful drum machines, and an overall cyber-futuristic vibe that perfectly complements the game's aesthetics. If you're a fan of electronic music, you're in for a treat, as this underrated soundtrack adds depth to the gameplay and enhances the atmosphere of the game. In summary, Tao Feng is quite a mixed bag. While it boasts impressive visuals and a stellar soundtrack, its gameplay falls short of expectations. The story mode is devoid of a compelling narrative, and the other game modes fail to make up for this. Although the fighting mechanics attempt to introduce new elements like limb damage, the overall combat experience feels lackluster, and it fails to deliver anything engaging. Tao Feng struggles to stand out in the crowded arena of 3D fighters on the Xbox. While it's not a bad game, there are certainly better options in the 3D fighting genre, such as Dead or Alive 3. Tao Feng is not an Xbox exclusive that you have to rush out and play. And on my original Xbox ranking list, Tao Feng lands in a lower position at number 51. Personally, I'd rather be playing games like Fusion Frenzy with friends for a more enjoyable experience, although I would say it is a lot more fun than Arctic Thunder. And that concludes today's review. If you found this video enjoyable, please give it a like and subscribe for more retro Xbox content. If you like or even hate this game, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what I should play next, and I'll see you here next time at Camp Xbox.